So, hi everyone. As I promised, I'm recording the second part to the previous video where I want to tell you the continuation about money thinking and also about the importance of energy, the interaction of these energies with the external world, and in general about our relationship, probably not only with finances, but with everything that concerns our interaction with energies. Today I also want to look at another interesting block that I once noticed in myself. And the moment of realizing it helped me a lot. It's about object-based thinking, this financial object thinking. But before we begin, hit like on this video and don't forget to write a comment to support it so you help me, so that as many people as possible can see this video. And now, let's begin. But there's another point I wanted to highlight. It's the moment of the financial ceiling. I don't remember if I mentioned it in the first video or not, but I'll say it anyway. Very often people have this idea of crazy amounts of money. Like, oh, that's crazy money. For example, for many people when they hear a million sounds like so much. Oh, those are huge, enormous amounts. Their eyes literally pop out at the word million. It feels like something insanely big. We hear it everywhere. A million. And we go, oh damn, a mil what? That immediate reaction. But we need to start thinking more rationally about money, about sums of money, and start. I'll speak for myself. I caught this in myself probably around 29 years old. This was actually one of my late realizations. That I also lived for quite a long time with the feeling that a million was something huge. But then I understood. When I came into contact with the real estate market, this was already a bit later. We bought first apartment when I was 25. Back then, in principle, you could still get something for a million. Well, actually you couldn't get anything for a million, of course, but for 1.5, closer to 2 million, you could still buy something in our city. A little bit later, when I started thinking about expanding my living space, I looked around and realized that, well, the amounts were much higher. And realistically, if you look life in the eyes, right now you can't even buy a couple of square meters for a million. Prices now are insane. In many cities, it's 100,000 per square meter. You can't even buy 10 square meters. You can't even buy a tiny studio for that. Even a room in a dorm, probably, you can't buy now. Say, and that's the point, when you start converting that amount into something material. When you start laying it out, comparing it to real objects, you understand that in reality, the amount isn't big. You need to compare money with something physical. You need to stop thinking, oh, it's just some number, while not understanding what this number fits into. Here again, this figurative thinking is important, and yes, it helps with structural, rational spending of money, systemic spending, instead of money being some abstract amount floating somewhere in your head, like one girl once said. Oh, 100,000. That someone's salary is 100,000. That's crazy. With 100,000, I could really live it up. She thought those were huge amounts, but when she actually got her first 100,000, the money slipped away through her fingers exactly the same way all her previous amounts did. She thought it was big, but in reality it wasn't, because her mistake was that she didn't understand what that amount would fit into. So, when we start looking at money not as just a number, but as something concrete, something that fits into real objects, something that can be broken down into what it can actually buy, then our thinking starts to change. This helped me a lot at the time, because when I shifted from thinking, oh, it's just some amount, like 300,000 or 400,000, to thinking in terms of actual objects, actual purchases, when money stopped being this vague, foggy idea and became something concrete, I suddenly began to see much more clearly where to spend it. And that rational distribution, that structured distribution, became so much easier. The whole thinking process changes because you're no longer thinking, oh, if I had a million, I'd figure out what to do with it later, which is what people usually think. Instead, I started thinking in a completely different way. Like, for me to get this particular thing I want, I need this exact amount of money, and then money becomes secondary, right? And as I said, it's the most important rule, and I'll repeat it many times, is that money itself is not the important part. The goal is important. Money is just the tool, the means to reach something. And when we think about money in terms of concrete objects, like I need this amount for this goal, and for that amount I can buy this or that, then we start thinking about the goals, not the tool. And that's the correct shift, because intentions also work better this way. As I said before, even one single ruble is already money for the material world. So if our intention is I want a lot of money, that intention will never come true. It's vague. We need a clear, specific goal. What do I want to use this money for? Where exactly do I want to arrive? Point B. I talked about this a lot in the intention course. And I think I've basically said how I always thought and how I think now. Honestly, I never chased money, not before now. Even with YouTube, where for the most part I just want to share knowledge, to make knowledge accessible. Even there, people told me, many of you actually, that in the world of social media and online learning, my courses could easily be priced much higher. Some of you work with marketing or online sales, and you told me the same thing. But for me, the main idea has always been to share, not to chase something. I remember people sending me examples. Courses priced at 40 or 50,000 rubles, literally for 5 hours of video. Some priced at 100,000, some even at 1 million. That's the narcissistic marketing trend I told you about earlier. People buy it, they fall for it. And I looked at all of that and thought, no, that's not my path. Maybe that's my own financial block still somewhere inside me. Who knows, but it's something I stay true to. Because for me, the main idea is sharing, not chasing money. And for me, it's not about money really. Money isn't the goal. The goal is the process. When you love what you're doing, when you love the projects you build, when you love creating something, when you enjoy the whole process of bringing something to life, when you enjoy playing with ideas, tools, ways to grow, that's where the real joy is. Money then becomes nothing more than nails and a hammer, tools you use to build bigger, better, higher quality things. The tools to make your creative ideas real. And that's when you understand money is just an instrument, so you can express more, create more. And that's probably also a part of how I relate to money, to life, and to everything I strive for. That's why I keep my course prices accessible for everyone, for students, for people working modest jobs, for retirees, for anyone. I want it to be fair for you, and fair for me. Yes, some people chase after huge price tags. 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 per program. That's their path. Mine is different. So everyone has their own path in this, their own view on how to present their work, their own view on finances, on what success means. For me, money is not the main thing, even if that sounds strange to some people. Of course, money is a resource. We need it to eat, to live with, to dress, to buy a car, to buy a home, to support our children. Everything in our world is tied to resource exchange of financial exchange, energy exchange. And yes, we always take that into account. But still, for me, life has to have meaning, a deeper meaning. That meaning comes from creating something, from having goals, from wanting to reach something, from seeing yourself as someone in this life. I want to feel certain states, I want to experience them, I want to taste life. The taste of new places, the taste of experiences, the taste of achievements, the taste of motherhood, the taste of watching your work grow, all of that is life. And where are money in all this? Money is simply an instrument, something like an oar that helps you move faster along the river of life so you can reach your shore. Money is not the destination, it's just the tool. And you know, when people think that talking for 1 or 2 hours is easy, it's not. Putting thoughts into clear words, explaining things so others understand, connecting ideas, all of this takes mental and emotional energy. Try it yourself. If it works for you, wonderful, start your YouTube channel, that would be amazing. But it's not as simple as it looks. Very few people can actually do it well. People tell me often, you explain things so clearly, you turn your thoughts into words beautifully, you take the images you see and translate them into something we can understand. And yes, sometimes I use repetition on purpose because it's not easy to reach the subconscious mind. Some ideas need to be repeated softly so they sink deeper inside. So the listener doesn't just hear them but feels them. And that's also work. Emotional work, mental work, energy work. Every word we send out into the world, every emotion we express, every movement we make, everything is a resource. And the world always responds, always. The world reflects something back to us. even a simple conversation with someone. We're not just talking into the air, we're sending energy out and we expect a response. We want to understand the other person or for them to understand you or to feel heard or comforted. This is all part of energy exchange. And if we look at the financial topic from a bigger perspective, it's not about money at all. It's about energy. The energy we spend every day. Our time, that's energy. Our thoughts, that's energy. Our emotions, that's energy. Even small everyday actions are part of that exchange. Cooking, fixing something, working, creating, helping someone eat. All of that is energy we put into the world, and the world always gives something in return. So when we talk about financial flow, about being in the flow, it's never only about money. It's about everything. Our time, our energy, our choices, our actions, our connections. Money alone isn't enough. You need relationships, thinking, skills, tools, people, the timing, intuition, planning, action, meaning. Everything is part of the flow. Someone might say, I'm in the flow. Money is falling from the sky forward, but that's not how it works. I always remember that story about a guy, a garbage worker, who won millions in the lottery. He bought cars, houses, spent money everywhere, and in just a couple of years, all the money was gone. He went right back to his garbage job. That's the clearest example. Because the problem wasn't money, the problem was mindset. And that's why I always say, financial thinking is not about dreaming of cars, luxury, or status. It's not about wanting a Lamborghini. It's not about wanting some glamorous life. No, financial thinking is the ability to see everything, money, people, opportunities, tools, situations as instruments, ways to reach a goal, mortgage, savings, connections, skills, advice from a friend, all of it is part of the system. Everything can be a tool, and money is only one of those tools. So when we look at resources, we shouldn't see only money. We need to see all resources. Our time, our energy, our actions, our skills, our relationships, our decisions, everything. All of it is part of our personal resource system. All of it is part of our efficiency, our internal current, or whatever resource we spend, it must bring something back. Not always money, but movement of progress, clarity, a step forward, something that aligns us with our goals. And of course, we shouldn't turn every interaction into a financial calculation. If we reduce everything to money, we end up in a kind of emotional psychopathy, where every action must bring profit. That's not the point. The point is to stop obsessing over money as the main goal and instead understand that life itself is the goal. The way we want to live, the way we want to feel, the way we want to grow, that is the real purpose. And everything else, how we travel through life, on a bicycle or a car or a bus or a boat, all of that is just the means of moving through this river of life. It's just the transport, just the tools. And that's really what I wanted to say. I hope this video helps you think deeper about finances, about energy, about your interaction with the world. And for those of you who want to learn how to work with intention, how to set goals properly, how to make your intentions actually manifest, how to align your energy with the right timeline, you can join my intention course. There I explain how to structure intentions so they anchor into space, so they begin working for you, so they guide you steadily toward the right direction. And to be honest, when I was creating that course, I wasn't sure at all whether I could explain it. Intention is direct work with the subtle plane, with energy, with matter, and I wasn't sure if I could translate that into words. How do you teach someone to direct intention? How do you explain such a subtle process? I had many doubts, but so sometimes your hands just do the work while your mind is still scared. If you have a goal, you move through the fear, and you do it anyway. And I'm so happy I did, because that course turned out incredible. So many people who took it said the same, that it was the only course that truly explained what intention actually is, how it works, how to interact with it, how to feel it, and how to direct it. Some said it was the best intention course they ever took, and many told me their intentions started manifesting almost instantly because they finally understood the mechanics behind it. And honestly, I felt such joy hearing that, because that was exactly the goal. Not money, but that feeling when someone touches your work and says, this helped me, this changed something in me, this made my life clearer. That emotion alone is worth everything. Or so, if you want to explore all of this, if you want to dive into intention, energy, alignment, you're welcome to join. I'll be happy to have you there. And also don't forget to subscribe to the Telegram channel. I post interesting world updates there, announcements for live streams, updates for YouTube, and sometimes voice messages that come to me spontaneously from the subtle plane. Not everything fits into YouTube, so some things I share there in the moment, right when they come through. But I love you all, I hug you all, and I'm grateful you're walking this path with me. Your light, your creativity, your energy, all of it means more to me than you think. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share my channel. Become a member of my Telegram channel and discuss with like-minded people as a supporting club member.